Hello everyone, this is Krinstar, and today I am going to talk about one of the features that I like in VCVRack that is apparently not in Bitwig, but there are ways around it that you can do to make it a part of Bitwig. So we're going to talk about it. In VCVRack, it's more money, but you can buy this host type of plugin or module that allows you to use external or third-party plugins to be in the process or to be in the middle of your VCVRack setup. So if I wanted to say use easy fragments from Arturia, I just click on it. It brings up the interface. This is a granular synthesis, and it is now loaded in its host effects. All I have to do is bring the input into here and then the output back into here. So once again, if I take it off and I just put it straight through, Polymer in its default configuration sounds like this, but if we put it up to the Arturia EFX fragments, which is a granular engine, it sounds kind of... Right, and that's not necessarily anything with VCVRack. That's actually what the fragment's doing a lot of work. And realistically, I could just drag and drop fragments into here. So it's not realistically just a simplified setup. I could put this in a more complicated setup and a lot of advanced routing and do a lot of things and get it in the middle of stuff. And with the cabling and stuff like that, I can route it to several different things where in Bitwig's grid, it doesn't really do the same thing. So let me also demonstrate. So I got note grid here. Let's not say note grid. Actually, let's use FX grid because we're dealing with FX. Let's look at FX grid, and basically it kind of has a pass through like VCVRack. And then what I want to do is I want to not say that we're looking at FX grid devices, but I want Polymer again. All right, so within here, there's not really a way to introduce a VST in there. Once again, it has to be somewhere outside or maybe in the post effects, pre-effects, but realistically, if I put the EFX plugin, it helps if I explain, type this in correctly. Where it puts it a part of it, but there's not a point where I can route it or in, out. Basically, I can't cause it to route a certain way without it being in there. It'll be in there or be, you know, in the post chain, it'll be everywhere. But the thing about the grid is you could do some really cool routing with this mechanism right here. And let's say like a mix or something. And like you got a lot of different routing options to do with the grid that in this level you can't really do. You could do with the layer system, but realistically there's not a whole lot of stuff you could do with the routing. So Bitwig offers a couple of things as a workaround to get what I want done. What I want to do is have something routed to EFX fragments that's basically, it's not the default route or it's not everything's being routed to it. I only want this to be done in a certain route. So let's say I want this incoming. And if it's selected this way, then it goes out. And then of course I need to mix it back in. So let's do the mixer back. And then what I want to do is basically have it so that this becomes EFX fragments and then goes into here. So that's kind of what I want to do. So in Bitwig, I don't think it's possible to do a module that I can stick the VST in at this point and be able to do the mix. So we're gonna have to think outside of the box and do something else with it, because basically when I press this button, I'm able to do some of the delay or effects or something But you got a really limited option on the things that you can do. So as it would be, I want this to be my VST for this type of routing to help with me. So what I want to do is kind of do something of a workaround. So I know that there are a couple of modules that can do this type of thing. So let's stop in here and let's actually use the routing outside of the thing to work. And with that, let's do we can do either a selector or we can do an instrument layer. I'm going to try an instrument layer. And there's a couple of things I want to have happen. And I want to make this one a tool. I want this one to be my clean out. Oh. There we go. I'm pressing it, no noise. There's no noise being displayed on here. Let me do the button. Because we don't have any voice out. So what I want to do is I want to kind of route this into this on each of these right here in this, and then route out correctly through like something like we could mix here if we want to use this as a mixer, but the combined out's going to be what we want. But we want this to dictate what I hear here. That's what I want. There's a couple of ways of doing it. One of the ways is we can make a modulator that goes out. And you can barely see it, but there's a signal going out to these modulators. So now I'm sending out something out of the modulator. What are we going to modulate? Well, we're going to modulate something in these things. So I think there's a audio receiver or audio rate here that does it. But what are we going to modulate with that audio rate? We need to have something. So therefore, we're going to get even more simpler, and then we're going to put. I think of polarity. He messes with the DC offset. So we're gonna have something in these layers that's a DC offset, and I think that one's gonna modulate it. So that goes that one. If we turn it off, nothing. Oh, holy crap, it works. So we could do the same thing with this one, and we're going to modulate this one right here with this tool. So we're going to do a DC offset, and then we're going to modulate that one, this one. now we have layers that are split and be able to mess with the thing. And I don't think we actually need to. Yeah, because it's only coming through this DC offset. And there's absolutely zero sound coming out of this thing, except for the modulation. The modulation's is actually taking over the sound, so we swap the buttons. And now we're only routing the sound to the EFX fragments when I want to. And realistically, I think the Polarity's right. It's kind of like a hack or something, but it's kind of a cool hack. And I forget how this, I see it work, and then I instantly forget about it. And then I blame it on Bitwig not having something like this, but realistically, it's just a lot of things with Bitwig, you just, like with a lot of DAWs, you just have to think your way through it and how you want it done. It's not like a limitation on the DAW or whatnot. It's more or less a limitation on how you want it to be presented. So I would have thought it would be easier just to stick something in there and do just like VCVRack does and just create a module in there and just have it go. But realistically, I can use these modules and then I can have it communicate with something on the other side. And something called an audio rate. And have this one tied to, okay, this one tied to the polymer. And I think pre. And now it's being the audio rate's coming off of that. So now I can modulate anything in here. Oh, there's not a modulator in. Interesting. No, you wouldn't have a modulator in. You can have a value in, and then have this one affect that. So that's working to the value of here. Where can we use that to make it really screwy? That's actually really cool. I like that. I need to turn it down though, because it sounds like straight up noise. Maybe Okay, how bad can we get this? I think that devolved into something really weird, but really interesting. I really like it. So, again, this one is really good for understanding, and basically it's just you can use the audio rates from this guy back here. Actually, these DC offsets are actually what's doing it right here. That's doing it. But these kind of send things back and forth, but using the modulation system, so you can technically communicate from grid to grid, and that takes care of the other problem I have of kind of like user type of functions, or like say you build something in here and you want to reuse it over again. How would you do it? Well, all I have to do is just literally like save this patch right now as something, save preset to library, and then name it something, and now I got my user defined function. So yeah, that takes care of that problem also. So realistically, this little trick, while it may not be easy in Bitwig, it's certainly possible if you know, literally you have to think about what you want to do, and now it's routable in Bitwig within a certain degree, and it basically uses these two instruments to do it. I could also do kind of like volume things and other types of kind of weirdness with it overall. So pretty cool little trick there, or hack. So at any rate, hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This was kind of cool. I need to use it more to learn and to remember and to be able to do it by default when I need to route things around the system, because I just assume that this stuff stops. It's also possible to actually output this to yet another thing. Also, and I just realized I said that thanks for watching, thanks for listening, but you could create another thing here and put it at either the project level or this level, and then put this audio rate, and then grab the modulation from the first one up there. So now you can see it turning yellow. So that's it. Doing well, actually, let's turn the monitor off. Okay. Let's turn the monitor on. So not sending any data, press on it, sending data. Of course, you can't hear it because basically there's nothing coming out. But what would this go to? Oh, this can go to anything else. But I'm not saying any MIDI, but realistically, this is listening to the Polymer channel, and it's getting that data coming through. So it's literally listening to it. So either way, really awesome. Once again, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and I will catch you later.